In this video, we're going to talk about how to position a part on the laser before we start a cut. First thing we need to do is take our material. In this case, I have just a piece of Luan, and we're going to do most of our cuts from center of page or center of part. So I need to indicate where the actual center of this is. So I'm just going to use the corner to corner method. Scribe an X in the line. If your material is such that you can't mark on it easy, such as glass or acrylic, a small piece of tape placed in the center will help. The next thing we need to do is move the head of this. Now, we can simply lift the lid here and do this same procedure inside, but for purposes of filming, we're going to lift the large body of the machine just to get a better view. One thing to note, this piece of glass here is very expensive, so notice when I started to mark my part, I didn't lay it on the glass. This is not a work surface. We should never put anything up here. It's only a viewport. Also, be very careful when we're using the machine of locking this up and then trying to raise the overall top of the machine. Always remember to keep this down. So, to start with, first step with this is we're going to click the pointer. That's just simply a red laser pointer, just like the little toy ones. No danger with it, just shows us the location of the laser. Then we want to go to the XY off. Click that so that it comes up saying XY off, and then hit the go button. What this allows is for the stepper motors to allow the head to move around freely. So now when we raise the top, we should be able to move the cutting head with a very light touch. If you have to pull on this hard, something's wrong. You haven't gone through the proper setup. So for this, we're going to place our part down on the cutting table. Doesn't really matter where. We could place it anywhere on the cutting surface. Pushing it to one side or the other simply squares it up to the table. These side rails are square to the axis of the cutter, so we can use those as guides. So we've got this pushed to the top so we know we're square. Here's our X marks the spot. Notice our red laser dot. We're going to then move the cutting head to its point where it's centered over the square, the X. That tells the machine that's going to be the center of our part. We're going to then close the lid, and we're going to hit the set home button. And we make sure that it says reset home center. And once we see that, we go to the reset button, and that's going to tell the machine that that location is where we want to count for 0, 0, or the center of our part. Lastly, we can turn the laser pointer off. No reason to run it if you don't need it. Remember, when we're doing our print commands from this, we want to make sure we do center cutting, the little checkbox.